We are live.
Episode 110.
One
Episode 110. That's crazy.
110.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Our Real Addiction. We
First
are here
episode on the
live and in
YouTube channel
studio.
too.
And it's the first it's we're back. We're back on
Round
the
of
interwebs,
applause.
on the YouTubes. Uh it's funny. I don't think I rewatched those videos that we originally posted, and I'm scared to do so.
No, they're young. They are young, and they're originals, is what we should say. Those
They
are originals, baby.
for sure.
Let's get a round of applause though.
It was pretty rough. Yeah, get in there.
Wow, those are lovely fans.
I think they're
man.
very much alive today.
I know.
Like they're real.
They are 100% real. Lot to cover in the episode. Box office, more trailers. We got a writer's strike going on. We got Star Wars Celebration. More
And
Mando.
we got this crazy episode of Mandalorian today.
It is
crazy.
It's definitely the best of the season. We'll get all into that. But again, in just, what is it, like 3 short weeks, little less than 3 short weeks, we have season 3 starting. There's a lot Miguel and I have planned in season 3. A lot of fun. Obviously, we have movie
For
news.
those of you confused, we're talking about Our Real Addiction, by the way, not the Mandalorian.
Oh, yes.
Talking season
Sorry.
3 of
Yes.
Our Real Addiction, which is very, very exciting.
We announced it on Friday, but we got Our Real Addiction season 3. Super exciting stuff going on. Was it Friday or Monday? It might have been Monday, actually.
I think it was Monday.
Yeah, Monday. So Monday we announced season 3 of the podcast. We also announced movie news Monday. So super excited to be starting that up. Essentially, really quickly, of what Movie News Monday is going to be about. It is going to be no more than 5-minute episodes every single Monday starting June 5th.
Yes.
Of me essentially bringing you topics throughout the movie industry that simply we either couldn't cover on the podcast, or previews to the episode of what we are essentially going to be diving into more depth on specific topics. It's going to be short, quick updates, just for you guys and for those who want shorter content. We're going to bring that out. Also, I think, Miguel, you have something to share as well.
I do, yes. So
regarding season 3.
Season 3 has a lot of projects, and one project that I'm tackling at the moment for you guys is a little show called TV Inquiry. The name is still a work in progress. If you, Adam, and I are still working on how the show will flow. Once I film the pilot, record the pilot, I will eventually, things will come to fruition. But basically, it's gonna be a show of me reviewing TV shows that we can't cover completely. I watch way more TV shows all the time. I start them and then I kind of like rush through them, and I want to give my thoughts and opinions and kind of give more traction to these shows, because there are different streaming services that aren't as mainstream, if that makes sense, or up and coming, and have a lot of good work, a lot of good writing, a lot of great actors, especially those that are still not as famous yet, but something that will come to fruition soon in this season 3 of Our Real Addiction. So
absolutely.
yeah, very excited to share that with you. But yeah, you're gonna be seeing me a little more on TikTok, on the Instagram, and then also too on the YouTube.
Yeah.
So yeah,
definitely. So when we talk about these new shows coming to Our Real Addiction, they are going to be YouTube exclusives. So to watch this content, you're going to need to be subscribed to the YouTube channel. Obviously, hit the bell so you can get all the notifications from us. Anything, just stay up to date with us. You can comment on there. You can, respond.
Yeah, do it now.
Yeah, do it now.
You're watching
to
us
the
now
YouTube
on
channel.
our YouTube account. So please subscribe and like and follow and share to whoever you think we're cool.
And if you're wondering what the channel is, it's youtube.com/@ourrealaddiction. Just go subscribe. A lot of stuff is coming. Also, another thing, not that we are not going to be doing reviews anymore, but the podcast is essentially going to be more thought-based as opposed to dissecting essentially movie reviews. we are essentially going to be bringing you the movie reviews a lot earlier before the actual podcast comes out. Mainly because we want to keep the podcast for simply just talking, not having to feel forced that we have to record episodes that strictly cover films that come out. So we want to essentially make reviews their own separate thing. Now, do not get me wrong. Reviews are going to be on the YouTube channel, and they're also going to be audio. So they are going to be special episodes of the podcast that will come out typically probably on Fridays with our initial thoughts and maybe Sundays with full-blown out reviews. We'll see. Maybe based on how it is, maybe we move movie news Monday to Tuesdays. We'll see how we're going to do it. But we got to, again, the mindset's more content more frequently. We want to get you guys more content. And lastly, we have cool ideas on how we want to record the podcast this coming season. Basically tapping into the creative flow of things that we like and incorporating them into the podcast. That's all I'm going to say, but you will see a different style of not podcast, but how we essentially handled it. If it's a different set, if it's structured like another show or another podcast, we want to tap into that because I think it'd be fun just to have fun really with it. But also bring you guys more content. That's essentially the highlight of all this is bringing you more content more frequently. That's really just the grind set / mindset of season 3.
Trademark.
Nah, it's all right. Somebody can trademark it for us.
Grind set. It's all good. Hashtag grind set. That's what it is.
Grind set. But yeah.
Grind set mentality.
Movie News Monday confirmed for June 5th. TV Inquiry, we will let you know as soon as we are ready to launch it. And that's a Miguel. You're gonna find just Miguel.
Inquire, sorry.
Sorry.
Yes, that's something I'll be expecting. I hope you guys like because
it's great.
I will for that. Just to wrap it up, I will kind of really go into detail as to how these shows are made. More credit on the writers. And then just an overall consensus of what I feel the show is and how it contributes in as a show for culture, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm excited for you guys to see it. I already have a couple things in store and I'll be shooting soon. So
absolutely. With that given said, I think it's safe to say once The Mandalorian ends, we'll immediately give you our thoughts the next day on Thursday. So that's going to stay the same. So you'll have the podcast will come out still on Thursday next week. But come June 3rd, we're going to be moving it to Wednesdays. May 3rd. Podcast will be going back to Wednesdays on May 3rd. Until further notice, it will be on Thursdays. That same day that we release episode 111 of the podcast on to you guys. We're also unveiling the new logo that day. So April 20th, next week, a week from today, we're going to be debuting the new Our Real Addiction logo. It's pretty awesome, pretty cool. And yeah, that's really all I got to say. Don't want to go too much into it because we do have a podcast to still run and still continue to do.
We have. Well, in a sense, overall, all these side projects will make our podcast reviews more concise instead of having all these jam-packed topics into one episode and then having them, does that like it's just that way? It's just direct to the point.
What Miguel's trying to say is essentially so that every episode of the podcast isn't a review. And more of just, again, open discussions. I know majority of these reviews are open discussions, but we want to really have reviews be their own separate thing, because some of you may be tuning into the podcast not watching The Mandalorian, not watching all these Marvel films, watching all these films. We want that to be separate content for those who specifically want that, and those tuning into the podcast can, we'll definitely take, ideas from you guys on what you want us to discuss. We'd love to do that as well. So that's definitely a big thing. But
right.
Yeah.
Well, enough of the production meeting with you guys.
Enough of season 3.
Let's talk about what we have talked about, planned out for you guys.
Yeah. Definitely. We're just going to jump right in. I got some box office numbers for you because it has been an exciting week at the box office because everybody is more or less in the same category except the number one film. No surprise what it is. I'm pretty sure you guys already know what it is. But as always, we're going to start from the bottom up. So, coming in at number 5 and escaping with just a small fraction of a dub, staying in the top 5 and relevant. Scream 6 made.
Scream 6 is still in the top 5 and
Yes,
it's
it is.
April. That's amazing.
Yes, it's
And
a
it's
month
been
old.
3 months. 4
Oh, what do you
overall.
mean?
Yeah.
It's only been a month.
Wait, what?
The film's only been out a month.
Oh, I'm confusing it.
Four
Hang on,
weeks.
Jan. I'm thinking about
4
my
weeks.
birthday.
Yeah, that's when the Scream films come out.
Yeah.
Um,
Usually it's in honor of my birthday.
Yeah, but the film made $3.4 million, bringing its grand total up to 162 million. 104 of that being domestic, and 57 of that being international. It's really just
Fun fact, it's the first franchise in a horror movie to ever surpass an opening. And I think it's matched
What do you mean by that?
the amount of what it's made
Uh-huh.
overall in its run.
Okay.
It's past Scream 2 when that released back in 1997.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So it's the highest
exciting.
grossing Scream film.
It is in the
Okay.
franchise, especially with the horror movie too, with a horror movie in general.
Gotcha.
Which is really exciting, and they deserve it because not a single bad movie is in that franchise. I stand by it, and I will die on that hill.
Oy. Okay. You're the only one dying on that hill.
I am. I'm cool. It's a lonely road here.
We got 3 films that are essentially in the same. There is less than $1 million that separates all of them. But coming in at number 4 is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. It made $13.9 million, bringing the grand total up to $126 million. 64 of that being domestically, and 61 of that being internationally. I saw it last week, a week after it came out. Didn't care for it. Didn't think it was all that good.
Oh wow! Then I need to see it because I probably will like it.
Yeah, you probably will. No, I don't know. The cast, just in my opinion, did not have good chemistry together.
That's crazy. That's the exact opposite of what I've been hearing from it. I heard a lot of like
I should say
of like what inspired the relationship was kind of like loosely based on Guardians of the Galaxy, like the Misfits, team together.
Very,
So.
very, 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 very loosely, I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
don't get me wrong. If you enjoyed it, great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I want every film that we review that I don't like, I hope you enjoy it because I hate not enjoying the films that I go see. I hate that. That's my hard-earned money that I'm spending each and every month. That for every film I don't like, essentially I'm wasting money. Because
what I hate when movies suck is when the writing is bad.
Yeah.
Like when it's not going anywhere. But if there's like a beginning, middle, and end, then perfect. But if there's a movie that I'm like, oh my God, I need to get out of here, then it hasn't happened since Infinity Pool.
An interesting film.
That,
to say the least.
That was weird.
It was.
That was weird. Anyway.
Coming in at number 3 is the Michael Jordan film.
Air.
Air at $14.5 million. It's actually tied for second because John Wick 4 also made $14.5 million, I should say. Air is at $33 million, 23 of that being domestically and 10 of that being internationally. It obviously follows the history of the person who... which essentially pursued the idea to give Michael Jordan his own basketball shoe. So it's I haven't been able to catch it, but I definitely do want to see it.
I heard really good stuff about it, especially because I think Ben Affleck is the director.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he directed Air. Uh, yes, it's directed by Ben Affleck and it's written by Alex Convery.
Okay.
So yeah, he directed it, which is great. So far has been getting really good reviews. When it did have an early showing, I think the first 13 reviews gave it like a really good score.
Hmm.
That the tomato meter was like at 100, I believe,
Oh well, I
when it
mean,
released.
first 13
For its
reviews,
first
yeah,
for its couple ratings, that's cool. You know, good for
yeah,
them. Now right now it sits at a 73 for the
okay,
Metascore, and it's a 7.8 for IMDb rating with a rising popularity of 6%. So
well,
something to consider, something to check out. I mean, the cast is pretty great. I love anything Jason Bateman's in, Matt Damon, of course. I like him a lot,
yeah,
but I like him more than Ben Affleck, sorry.
okay.
Viola Davis, I love her.
Mhm.
Chris Tucker, you can't go wrong. This, we got one of the Skarsgård brothers in here, Gustav. I just, it looks like a really good set. And we got Marlon Wayans. Come on.
Yeah, he is in that.
How can you
Um,
not like that man?
but
He
yeah, I
gave
mean,
us Scream. I mean, Scary Movie.
yeah, scary movie. But I haven't seen it yet. I'm definitely gonna check it out. But yeah, so that's made $33 million, 14.5 at the box office. Also making 14.5 is obviously, like I said, John Wick Chapter 4. It's now made 271 million. We just got a trailer for the prequel, The Continental. Super awesome. I haven't had the chance to watch it,
It's
but I need
cool.
to.
It's going to be a 3-part limited
Oh yes, I
series
did. You
event.
know what? I did watch it. Yes,
Yes. It wasn't much. It was just like, you
an
know,
announcement.
it was an announcement. It looked pretty cool. There's some really cool shots on it.
Hmm.
I'm really excited to see what this show will be about completely. I have an idea, of course. But I mean, the fact that we have Mel Gibson in there as Cormac, and then we have
Yeah.
Colin Woodell, Nun Kate, Jessica Allen, Adam Shapiro, Jeremy Bobb, Katie McGrath, who I haven't seen her since the last time I saw her, I want to say anything from her work was when she got picked up in Jurassic World
Oh my
and
goodness.
then got thrown around by a pterodactyl, and then she got thrown down in the lake, and then she was eaten by that giant lizard thing in the
Yeah.
water. It was insane. That was what
Yeah.
a way to die.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, she's gonna
But
be in this, which is really exciting.
yeah, but back to John Wick. Obviously, a successful film in this franchise, and in for this installment in the franchise, 271 million. 149 of that being domestically, 122 million
Yeah.
being
Also,
international.
I've recently gotten Peacock,
Uh huh.
and you know what? It doesn't disappoint.
No,
And
I have. I
I
also have
don't. I'm
Peacock.
paying for like $5 for it, and like
Yeah.
the ads is whatever. But it's pretty good content on there. And if my Mexican listeners, if you like your novelas, all of them are on there.
Oh wow.
Most
Well,
of
there you
them, at
go.
least.
There you go. But with no surprise, coming in at number one, the Super Mario Brothers, making 146 million in its opening weekend. Um,
Biggest box office opening for an animated movie
yes,
ever. Is
yeah,
that correct?
that is correct.
That's crazy.
Since then, it's out of week officially today at the time of you listening. For those who saw it Thursday, it's made 427 million dollars. 240 of that being domestic and 187 of that being international. Insane to think how much it's made. I mean, what more can you say about this film? Don't get me wrong. So really, because I saw it, I don't know if you saw it.
I haven't yet. I've heard good things.
Okay.
I mean, I've heard you made a really good comment about this movie being
Yeah.
not adult target audience. It's for kids.
Yeah. So
I
essentially,
mean, in a sense, yes, it is for kid. It is a children's movie, but then there's that whole like question of like, are animations actually just for children?
well,
Which is not. It's not because I mean we have several animations. They have very intense adult film
no,
themes. I mean,
absolutely, absolutely.
um, but I mean I think more of it's just nostalgia based, right? And if anything, too,
Kind of.
most of that is coming from people who have been playing Mario since they were kids, since the NES or yeah.
No, absolutely. Well, so the reason I say it's not for or not for us is because at the end of the day, we're not the target audiences. We're not the ones who's going to be bringing in majority of the cash flow for this film in terms of the future of selling merch and stuff like that. It's going to be these smaller kids, in my opinion. Mainly, well, and another thing too, I had a theater full of kids on opening night.
I was wondering that. I was going to ask
Parents
the same thing. I was like, did you, is that the reason why mostly you agree on that? Because it's mostly kids watching?
Somewhat, but the reason I also think that too is that, like, again, yes, it is we do tend to link cartoon with the kid viewership, but this wasn't in like an adult film in terms of like you're gonna laugh at all the jokes. It's gonna be targeted for you to laugh and not the kids. They're dumb jokes. They're dumb small little jokes. They're kid jokes. Don't get me wrong. Yes, when you're in the movie theater, you tend to react to them more. But if you realistically rewatch it, in a home, at home or elsewhere, you're probably not going to be laughing at these jokes because of the fact that you're not in the experience of what a theater gives you. However, again, there is enough nostalgia for you to enjoy the film. The film is not a bad film by any means. Jack Black has a couple original songs in this film that are absolutely.
I saw one called Peaches that released. Like they gave it a whole music video for it.
It's in the that scene's in hilarious. The film. That scene's in the film.
Wow. I also heard that they have Holding Out for a Hero.
Yes,
in the movie.
Yes,
and I'm just curious to see exactly how that rolls out. But I will be catching a showing sometime this week.
No, absolutely. But overall, I mean, I enjoyed the film. $427 million. Expect a sequel. They're already expecting. I mean, the anticipation for who's going to voice Wario and Waluigi. A lot of people on the internet are speculating that Pedro Pascal should be voicing Wario. Well, no, Jack Black.
I'm on the fence about because someone did a fan cast and they were talking about William Dafoe as Waluigi and Danny DeVito as Wario, and I see that in my head way better than I do. However, there's another person that's saying Bill Hader for Waluigi. I think somebody else commented for Wario, but I don't remember the actor. So let us know your thoughts on who you want to see the fan cast of these guys.
Yeah, definitely. Jack Black came out and actually said he wanted Pedro Pascal.
That's funny.
As Waluigi. Or maybe even Wario. I think either way.
I think it was Wario because he kind of looks more like Wario than he does Waluigi.
Oh my gosh. But that's going to do
Technically, they're brothers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's going to do it for the box office update. We have two trailers to really talk about today. The biggest two being A24's new film, Talk to Me, and Marvel Studios' The Marvels. Marvels, The Marvels.
Dude, The Marvels.
Which one do you want to tackle first?
Let's talk about it.
The Marvels?
The Marvels first, yeah, because A24 can be later.
True.
There was a comment that I saw online that said this movie, and forgive me for sounding corny or making this sound corny whatsoever, feels like it's not afraid to just be a movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the trailer gave me a lot, but also enough to keep me invested, but also at the same time not enough to know what is going on and not to see it like the end result, if that makes sense. I think the cast is charismatic as hell. Yeah. So I think it's really cool to have all of this. I love seeing Iman back as Kamala Khan. I think it's going to be a really good role for her. I mean, it's already has been with Miss Marvel, but to see her and then, join the ranks of Monica Rambeau and Brie Larson's Captain Marvel, it's going to be really exciting. But what do you think originally of the trailer?
So I 100% love this film. This trailer, I should say. I haven't seen the film yet. That'd be awesome if I did.
He was just hanging out, having cold ones with Kevin Feige.
Yeah,
he's seeing the final cut. He was in the office for sure.
So, fun fact: Kevin Feige and I hang out every Friday after I get off work, and we go grab a brewski. Down at my local bar of where I work. So, me and Kevin Feige are actually really, really good friends. So So I get to pick his brain earlier. Obviously, I signed an NDA where I can't disclose any of the things that he tells me. But just know that you guys are gonna love what is coming because I know basically what happens after Secret Wars, and I would love to tell you guys, but obviously me and Kevin, just we have that strict
It's
cool.
the NDA.
Yeah, it's the NDA. We're
It's
boys.
the
We're
NDA.
basically Kevin Feige and me are boys. I'm gonna call him after this podcast. Let him know we talked about the Marvels on it. And he's gonna appreciate
He's
that.
gonna probably just be like, "Thanks for the free PR. Oh, also
Exactly,
here, check your mail. I sent you something."
exactly. But no, the trailer looked absolutely fantastic. I love that you said it feels like it's not afraid to be a movie.
Yeah, this
Because
is something I quoted on from someone that I read.
mhm.
I need to
So
find out who said
whoever
that, but
said that, I 100%
uh,
agree because I was trying to figure out like how my excitement was like try to centralize my excitement for this film, and that kind of feels like the whole getup of it is that it's not afraid to be a film. It
yeah.
We
Like
talked
it
about
doesn't
it.
feel like a part of like a puzzle that will be leading to the bigger picture. It just feels like a continuation of Kamala Khan's story as well as
Yeah,
Monica Rambeau's, and then also seeing a hopefully a honestly fingers crossed a redemption for Brie Larson's character as Captain Marvel.
yeah.
Because I mean we all love Brie Larson, but the writing was
It's
off,
not in the
and then also
MCU.
too the Marvel. I mean, Captain Marvel like completely was rejected from the fan base.
Yeah. So like
So to see this, I yeah,
So sorry, yeah, like we said, we talked about it. We not to say we don't care about Brie Larson in this film, but we're kind of already over how her character has been kind of handled. Obviously, like we said, if she gets redemption in this film, we're gonna be completely okay, and we're gonna be happy for that because essentially we want to like Captain Marvel. However, when you already have a better fleshed out, character in Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau, it gets hard not to want to see them more fleshed out and Carol Danvers pushed to the side. Don't get me wrong, I'm ecstatic she's in this film. But if she's not the focus, I'm not gonna necessarily be upset.
what seems to be giving off from the basis of this trailer is that the central focus completely is on obviously the trio here, which is Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala Khan. But we see more of Kamala Khan and Captain. I mean,
Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau,
Yeah.
which honestly I think has more character development than Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. Not gonna lie. Granted, we did see both of these characters emerge from the television series that they did,
Mm-hmm.
and were expanded on in an 8 to 10 episode arc.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
I mean, depending, but to
here's
see,
what I'm going to counter argument that because at the end of the day, Monica Rambeau, yes, may be better fleshed out than Carol Danvers, but Monica Rambeau isn't the focus of WandaVision. That's not
no,
her
of course
show.
not, of course not. No, but what I'm
So
saying is that we understand, like, we have more like background on her character, and like we have more of a longevity in terms of like liking her
mhm,
because she's so like fresh off,
yeah,
as opposed to the complete denial and rejection that Carol Danvers got.
Yeah,
If that
Brie
makes
Larson.
sense.
And again,
If
some of that is Brie Larson's fault with how she handled PR.
I think it's the PR's fault. I think
Um,
that's exactly because it can't be. I mean, it takes two to tango. I won't like not blame her, but it
yeah,
also is PR. Like
yeah.
her PR kind of did her dirty.
No, yeah, 100%. Her attitude is really how she handled all the publicity or all the interviews and the when they went on the I forgot what they're called, but basically the interview.
The press tours.
Yeah, there you go, the press tours. The way she just simply handled it, how it looked like she was creating tension between all the original Avengers, by just engaging and forcing herself way in, that she's here, she's now, she's the best. It doesn't work like that. You got to earn your stripes.
I
And
feel like. I mean, yeah. It's a weird thing
no,
that
one hundred
happened.
percent, 100%. Don't get me wrong. I want to see Brie Larson succeed in the MCU. As of right now, I don't. I love Brie Larson as an actress. I don't like her in the MCU, but I want to like her in the MCU. In fact, I want to love her in the MCU. you know?
Yeah, I think the overall argument there, it's like the fact that it was like super unwarranted, and they were
Yeah.
still like, it's a character, it's a damn comic book character, and
Yeah.
she's just an actress, but yet like it's the end of the world if she goes up to Robert Downey Jr. and he goes, "I'm better than you." Like I think it was just completely like it just sucked that they just spiraled on just because of fan obsession,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. But hopefully this movie will redeem her. Uh and like it will bring full circle moments for everybody, I believe.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, but overall, the trailer's fantastic. It looks like it's going to be more centralized in Kamala Khan's point of view because we actually
Yes.
do see her family. Maria Rambeau, which is the mother of Monica Rambeau, playing by Lashana Lynch. She is set to return as well, probably in flashbacks, or maybe we'll see her pass. So that's obviously exciting. And it's just like, so overall I'm excited. Obviously Nick Fury involved in this film. Hopefully we can get a couple scrolls that are going to be in Secret Invasion in this film.
Yeah.
um
Funny enough, seeing Nick Fury in what is it? Jesus. Oh my God. The Marvels. We are just talking about it. Sorry.
mhm.
Confirms that he's not gonna like not die in Secret Invasion, if that makes sense.
No, 100%, but we also don't know where Secret Invasion or where the Marvels is placed.
That's true.
The timeline is so out of whack where it's just like this could be two different Nick Furies,
This could be, yeah.
you
He
know.
could be the imposter or
Well, it
whatever.
could be two different separate universes.
Oh,
Easily just written that way. Um
crazy.
But again, obviously the trailer, if you've seen it, obviously they're not accepting each other as a team. Well, Kamala Khan is. She's very like, oh, we're a team. We're gonna do this, and but Monica and Carol are like, we're not a team.
We're
We're
not a
not
team,
friends.
yeah.
Yeah, we're not doing anything. They don't know how to use their powers. But then there's a scene in the trailer where they are. It shows us they are eventually going to learn
Kicking
how.
But
Yeah,
there, that transition of Kamala going with a punch and then kind of reflecting back, and Monica absorbing that power and then just hitting it back, and then Brie Larson coming out and just being like, pa, 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 pa. I was
yeah.
like, yo, this is great. This is
Some
what we
good,
need.
this is some good stuff
Jesus.
right here.
This is some good stuff right here. This is what
Yeah,
makes me be part of a damn Marvel universe again. Like,
yeah.
this is what got, like, this, I'm going to be there.
Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
going to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
We will be,
overall, again,
we will be
I'm
there.
excited for this film. I mean, this.
Another film that I'm very excited about, but I'm
Well, really
terrified
quick
to
before
watch.
we transition. Also, we see their new suits. All of them have new suits in their own. Well, Monica Rambeau actually gets her suit, and it's nice. Kamala Khan gets an upgrade, and even Carol Danvers gets her own upgrade. I think the Carol Danvers suit is even different from the one we saw at the end of the Miss Marvel TV show. So, we'll just go and we'll go from there.
I hope they address a little more things about her being a mutant in this.
Ooh, yeah, you're right.
Right?
You're
I
right.
mean, like,
That'd be
yeah,
awesome.
let's talk about it. Let's
Yeah,
talk about it. Like, what do you mean she's a mutant?
yeah, definitely.
No. All
Yeah,
right.
definitely. But moving on to the other trailer we got. Go right
Adam's
ahead.
favorite new movie,
No, I will not be seeing this, dude.
A24's Talk to Me.
No, thank you.
For those who don't know about this movie, it's when a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand. They become hooked on the new thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. The film is directed by actual two brothers who are originally from YouTube. Danny, I'm so sorry to butcher your last name, Philippou, I believe, and Michael Phillip.
Not even gonna
Uh,
attempt it.
I am super sorry. I will try to announce this better. But it's written by Bill Hinsman, Daily Pearson, and Danny as well. And it has a complete full roster of new faces that I haven't seen before. But everyone has loved it. People have, because this has already been released. But this will be
Oh my
Danny and
goodness.
Michael's theatrical feature film. So like there is a previous an early screening of the film, and it's been getting really good reviews overall. One user on IMDb goes as far as saying the best Australian horror movie ever made, which is really, really exciting and promising. But from the trailer, it just looks some paranormal, demonic possession in the big screen again, and it's 8:24, meaning it's going to be scary. And the movie is an hour and 34 minutes runtime, so I wonder how much all of this is going to be just like a roller coaster ride. What were your initial thoughts on the trailer?
I'm tripping out because I just realized who the directors are.
Oh, who are they? You know them, right?
I don't know them in terms of like, I know
They have a
their
pretty
work.
big fan
I
base.
know. Yes, it is them. Okay, so they're Raka Raka on YouTube. They are known for some of really good editing skills. And it's really, really cool. They do absurd.
Wait, are they the same guys that do like the Harry Potter versus Twilight? I mean,
Yes,
versus like Star Wars
yes,
guys,
yes.
where they do all the things
Yep,
and stuff?
yep.
That's them?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. Because I was looking, I clicked on the names and I was just like, wait, I think I recognize these guys. They have gotten so many like
Dude, they've
tickets
been
and like
on you.
cease and
They've been on
desist.
YouTube. Like they're like era 2005.
Yeah. So they have been in trouble with like legally with some of the stunts they've done because of YouTube
Oh,
and everything they've pushed. However, it's cool to see them get a really big break on this because essentially the film it looks scary.
it
looks
looks
scary.
amazing. I mean, everything from.
And it's
I mean,
written by one of them.
it is, yeah, by Danny.
Yeah.
Um, and that's incredible. I mean, good, inspiring work, you guys. Like that's amazing, especially because all their work that I have seen and remember now by seeing,
Mm-hmm.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Like they did things that I never thought would be possible, and they did some of the best CGI work on there that I've seen on any type of YouTube channel. Even like it's that good to movies, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, the trailer, if you haven't seen it, checked it out. It's super cool. There's a demonstration of a hand, and it twirls, and then it kind of breaks to make it the
Yeah.
A24.
Makes the
That was
two.
genius. That's genius. The fact that they did that with the hand.
You know,
I hope they keep incorporating things like that in their future projects because they're just good. I really, really appreciate A24's as a studio
how
because they're
creative they're
giving
really
they're
trying to
giving
be.
limelight and they're giving hope and a platform
Yeah.
for future filmmakers, for filmmakers that are on the very cusp, but they don't get opportunities as much from like bigger studio heads. If that makes sense. And
Yeah.
this is honestly going to be a really good domino effect moving forward within the movie industry because if they take a chance and the movie does successfully well, imagine the doors like just it's amazing. I'm really happy for these guys.
No, yeah,
And
100%.
I will be watching it in theaters.
I will reluctantly be watching it. You asked me
It's
my thoughts. You know what it immediately reminded me of? The
what?
monkey palm story. You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
yeah.
Where you make the 3 wishes and then one goes down, then you continue. I forget the ending of it, but that's what it immediately reminded me of. Overall, the freaking film looks scary. There's quite a few, not jump scares, but there are some frightening and disturbing looking characters in this film.
They
You know,
like you.
yeah, we see obviously
They
the
like
character.
you.
We see the main character Mia. She is the girl who essentially keeps her hand keeps her hand held within the hand. With I think it's like 90 seconds she has to do.
Yeah. And then after that, if you hold on for too long, it's basically in a sense like their version of a Ouija board
Yeah,
where
that's
you
how it feels.
connect.
Yeah,
But I guess she brings something back.
yeah.
And
She
she never closed the door.
Yeah, and that's what I was just about to bring up is that she makes a point of mentioning of like maybe we opened a door that we didn't know how to close or that we didn't close. But overall, I mean, the trailer looks fantastic, as scary as it is. You saw me watching it, and you kept asking me like, "Why are you backing away from your computer screen?"
It was
Scary
super
movie.
funny,
I'm the
guys.
targeted audience.
He
for
went from like this to being like
Yeah, I was just like moving back, like okay, like
it
like
was pretty funny.
I'm good, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
the
there's
targeted
there's
audience
just
for horror films.
I love
They
there's
stress me
something
out.
about the fear of like kind of just getting it. I mean, I know I'm a big chicken in the long run. Like I do get scared of things, But when it comes to shows like that, I mean, or anything that's like as creepy as that, I will, especially when it comes to demonic possession, we both vocalize that we don't mess around with that
I
stuff.
don't.
We're like,
I don't.
no, we're good. I'm good. I mean, like, even then, I know The Exorcist is one of the scary films ever, but I will not watch it again. I refuse to.
I've never seen it.
I don't want to watch it. I just, that, again, we just keep going back to that. The Conjuring, those are different in the sense where I feel like, yes, there still are like Evil Dead. There's still like about demonic possession and everything like that. Like Evil Dead Rises, like I'm scared to go see that, but I want to. Um, so oh man, just to find out my thoughts. Crazy trailer, really good job for these guys. Super proud of them.
Yeah.
And keep making movies, man. Keep inspiring us because if you can do it, we can too.
Anybody else could. It's proof that just because you're a YouTuber that started off with small visual effects and increasingly worked on your craft doesn't mean you can't move up to the next level to what you want to do.
Exactly. And also, again, like in a sense, kudos to YouTube for being a platform as well that shows and gives us content. The ability, like the ability to share and create
Absolutely.
content and to post shit online. So
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. What do you got for us for our next topic?
Oh, this one seems a little loaded, but I got you right now. Actually, I the Hollywood is might be ready to go on another strike. A writer's strike might grind Hollywood to a halt, and what you need to know. This article is brought to you by Vanity Fair and it's written by Natalie Jarvie. But basically, officially on Tuesday or today, technically, or yesterday, because it's Thursday today as you're listening to this. The Writers Guild strike is basically just asking for more money and also to further enhance the lives of these people who are writing shows who are basically caught in a battle of streaming wars, like right in between.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Brittany Nichols, who is a writer and producer for the ABC sitcom Abbott Elementary, is all we're asking is like what we're asking is it absurd? It's just to be treated fairly and to be able to make a career out of being a television writer because that is being stripped away from us right now. The talks began in late March, and what was perhaps the first indication that they weren't going well, the WGA sent a letter to its members last Monday calling for a strike authorization vote. The studios need to respond to the crisis writers face and basically have to get everyone in the department to be like, we're going on strike, we're doing it. Okay, cool, let's go. Because they can't strike until their existing contract expires, first of all, too. But also too, they have to be in a consensus vote that they're all going to be doing this. What do writers want? More money, but of course, it's a nuance than that. Basically, TV writers and to some extent movie screenwriters too feel like they've been sidelined while streamers and studios have enjoyed the spoils of the streaming wars. Last year, Hollywood released nearly 600 original scripted shows, the most ever, or at least the most since John Landgraf, the FX chairman at Peak TV, began he began to keep track of how many original shows were being like released, right? But writers who are typically paid per episode have seen their earnings decimated by shorter seasons, typically just 6 to 12 episodes compared to the 22 to 24 episode ordeal. Longer production times, consider the 20-month gap between the second and third seasons of Stranger Things, for example, also mean they have to stretch their pay further. Outside of a handful of named writer producers like Shonda Rhimes, Greg Berlanti, and Ryan Murphy, stories abound about writers who barely are basically scraping by. They have gone on previous strikes before. This isn't the first time that they're going to do it. They've done that back in 2007, and they've done it back in 2017, and they won. The WGA is a formidable opponent and real momentum. It has real momentum on its side. In 2019, it took on Hollywood's powerful, talented agencies and won. Writers also prepared to strike in 2017 until they landed an 11th hour deal that won them a 15% increase in paid TV residuals and job protection for new parents. Sorry if I keep going down. My cat is being really needy right now.
So you talk about you talked about their money having to be averaged out or having to be spread out longer. So the average salary of of a writer in Hollywood is about 85,000. That's probably the medium. I am sure majority of the people that are making it or that are wanting to strike are probably making less than this, than
Yes.
$85,000 a year. Let's just say you sign on for 3 years, and you get paid in terms of like, okay, we're gonna pay you, 100,000 over the next, for the time that you work on, let's say a show like Stranger Things. We're gonna pay you per season, and if you divide that by three, you're only making about 33,000 a year, and that's before taxes.
Yeah.
You're in that poverty. You're not. That is a poverty level. You're not making a lot. And I think of like people who, I think of like who we've had on the show before, Magali and Isabel, who are essentially, up and coming and trying to really make their stamp on the TV world, when it comes to writing and just overall being in the writers' rooms of TV shows. They have, well, Magali specifically, she's written shows for The Walking Dead, and Isabel, she has her show on right now, The Watchful Eye, that they've worked on. They're not getting paid 80,000 for those shows. There's no way. There's just completely no way. Again, obviously, we'll never know, but it's interesting enough to hear that, and I think it'd be.
Yeah. I mean, it's this has been an ongoing issue ever since this is even before the streaming wars began. We're talking about like back early 2000s when you can go on iTunes and download an episode for $1.99, right?
Mhm.
And basically that's like completely decimating what the value of the whole episode is worth,
Yeah.
considering the fact that how much production goes into it, especially the writer going into it as well. So this has been an ongoing conflict, and it still hasn't been like resolved. I mean, it did get like somewhat of attraction, but now with all these streaming services coming up and like all these like for example, like HBO going from HBO Max to Max now, and then having an affiliation with Discovery,
Yeah.
it's harming everybody.
Hmm.
But what would like a strike mean for your favorite TV show? Basically, it wouldn't immediately you wouldn't see an immediate
Issue.
end result from it.
Yeah. You'd
Like
probably see a
you'll be
shorter
seeing it
season in the next one.
you'll be seeing this in future years
Yeah.
because this could change completely the trajectory of how writers will be completely assigned for television shows. I mean, it's something to really consider, and they need to be paid for what they're worth
No,
because I mean,
absolutely.
the writing is the foundation that goes around everything when it comes to making something.
Yeah.
You can't just shoot stuff and be like, oh yeah, this is what's like. You have to have an outline, the script, the show, the writing room, the production meeting rooms, all that stuff that needs to happen, and they all need to get paid. That's basically what's going on.
100%. I had a
But something,
conversation on
yeah,
this specific topic, and this is the reason why this got included into the episode, is because they asked me like, oh, what did I think about the potential strike? I was like, I don't even know about a strike going on with the writers. I was like, I'm glad I do though now. But I had this. I said in this conversation, I was just like, how do you put a price tag on your own original ideas and your own original writings, and storylines? Like, how do you put on a price? Like, how do you put a like, oh, this is what it's worth? Because at the end of the day, like, those are your own original creations. Art is subjective. It's like you can't say, oh, it's worth this much. It can, obviously you can sell it at that much, and it's up to the studio whether they want to buy it or not. But it's just like at the end, it's there obviously needs to be a middle ground. Because without a middle ground, there needs to, it unfortunately what will happen is these companies will go out and get people who are willing to write for less and write shittier stories and create crappier TV films. That's just the truth, and it's just like, and don't get me wrong, so I'm sure all the writers that are wanting to go on strike are probably just like anybody else, where they can be lazy, they can be unmotivated. I completely understand that. However, when you are producing out these show after show after show, how many shows does one single television station have? A lot when you really think about it throughout the week.
Yeah, there is so much going
Exactly.
on.
This
No,
isn't this isn't the
sorry.
50s where there was only 10 hours of television for the whole week,
Yeah,
you know? So it's a shame
there's
that the
it's
writers are looking to strike. But
yeah. I mean,
I am
I
all
want
for
them
it.
to
I'm
do
all
it.
for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah. So honestly, most, for example, the article goes on and asks like, will writers really strike? And they talked to dozens of TV industry workers over the last few weeks, and everyone has different opinions. Though many writers say they don't want to strike, they're prepared to. The rest of Hollywood, meanwhile, is acting as though a strike is likely, so they're all like getting mentally prepared for it. The source says a flurry of mini rooms began to meet toward the end of last year as studios looked to stockpile scripts. Meanwhile, deal makers are rushing to make sure contracts are signed, just for further protection. But everyone is basically on board
Yeah. And I'm glad.
overall. Yeah,
And I'm glad.
as they should, because
Yeah.
dude, come on. Like we're still fighting about this when they've done so many negotiations prior to like, and these aren't even, it took 10 years to do another one if it happened in 2007 the first time,
Yeah.
2017, and who knows about the previous ones too before 2007. You know what I'm
I
saying? Like
I think if it's happening as often as every 10 years, there's a clearly an issue of
but
taking
there's
advantage
also
of your
like the
writers.
studios right now with
Yeah.
everything going on in terms of streaming services where like everything is becoming cable.
Yeah.
It's like y'all messing up everything
Yeah.
for everybody.
Well, the rise of streaming services was inevitable with how quickly they can provide content.
Of course, but
However,
they need to figure it out.
no, absolutely. You got to be able to pay people living wages on this, especially when you are, and not even you probably have to pay them more than living wages because at the end of the day, you're pumping millions and millions of dollars into these production TV shows and production films that are coming out on streaming services. That's just the matter of the fact. If you can pay the actors and the actresses and all the production crew, you can pay your writers a more than livable
Yeah.
wage.
The best way that I could think about this is like y'all got to pay your bar bags right. Y'all get them a good percentage because the bar back is afloat, will keep the bar afloat, and your bartender's happy.
Yeah.
And like yeah, like because the bartenders are basically the show, and
Yeah.
the bar back is the production staff and meeting and set design and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all gotta be y'all gotta take care of your bar backs. So
Yeah.
yeah, get your stuff together, Hollywood.
Absolutely. Last mainly topic, a bunch of Star
Yeah,
Wars.
break this down, yeah, into our conglomerate.
So Star
topics.
Wars Celebration was this past weekend in London, which is super, super awesome. They announced they're going to Japan in 2025.
Wow.
And I am very, very
Are you going to
contemplating.
Japan? Adam's announcing his travel to
I
Japan.
think I want to go to Star Wars Celebration, and I know the cosplayers are going to be absolutely insane and amazing.
Dude, you're gonna be seeing like Star Wars is gonna be brought to Japan. Like you're gonna be time traveling hyperspeed into Galaxy's Edge.
Thinking about doing it.
I think you should. That would be
sign up for
good
like
coverage for us, man.
The purchase, to sign up for like when sales go over. However, there was awesome news. The biggest thing I really, really want to talk about is essentially the future of the films of Star Wars. We finally and officially have been given an insight on what is to come for Star Wars films in the future. It is Disney has said they're moving on from the Skywalker legacy. Fair enough.
Thank God.
I completely disagree with it.
There's just so much more to talk. Like there gotta be more than one space drama.
No, 100%. But Star Wars is Skywalker. That is,
of course. That is the president.
Yeah.
There will be no erasure of the Skywalker family, especially because they've done so much damage to the galaxy.
Yes,
Moving forward.
but there needs to always be the
Moving forward. Like, we got to figure out what else is out there. I love what's happening with Mandalore right now.
yes.
We'll get into that, but we have the return of Daisy Ridley, which
Well, hang on.
honestly,
I'll get into that and I'll break it down.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So obviously it's confirmed Daisy Ridley is going to get into that. So I'm going to break down the three films really quick because we have a little bit of context on all of them. So the first one that I'm going to be addressing is the one that James Mangold is going to be directing. He's done Logan and he's also doing Indiana Jones and the Dials of Destiny. They have just said we're going back to the dawn of the Jedi. I'm assuming it's going to be the earlier days of the Jedi, which is awesome to see if that is the case. So James Gunn's movie will go back to the dawn of the Jedi. Obviously, that's what I just mentioned. So they're looking to do that. Obviously, again, they're all about the different storylines now, which is awesome to see. The second film is going to be directed by Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, and her film is and that film is going to be set after the events of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. And yes, as you said, Daisy Ridley is coming back, and it's going to focus on her rebuilding the new Jedi Order. The third and final film, which is obviously going to be the most exciting of the three, it's going to be directed by James Filoni, and he is focusing on the New Republic, and he's going to be closing out the interconnected storylines told within The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and all the other Disney series.
Wait a minute. You said James Filoni?
Oh, excuse me, Dave Filoni. Excuse me, I apologize.
Okay, sorry. I want to make sure. Like, does he have a brother? Like,
no, excuse me. So Dave Filoni's film is going to focus on the New Republic. It is closing out that the Mandalorian storyline, the Book of Boba, and the Ahsoka Tano series, as well as any other show that comes into any other Disney Plus series.
Dude, that one's the most exciting thing.
So
of them all,
because we don't have much on the Dawn of the Jedi info, I'm gonna be excited for it regardless. The Rey coming back as, Daisy Ridley coming back as Rey Skywalker. I am completely on board for this because I do believe she is as yes, crybaby as they made her in these films, just like Anakin Skywalker. She deserves to come back and give her character a fully fleshed out story that makes sense and allows her to be loved within the Star Wars fandom.
100%, I definitely agree with you on that.
If there is something that Disney has taught us about Star Wars, it is that we are going to have redemption for a lot of characters.
Yes.
For the most part.
Good, because I wonder how that pitch was for her. You know what I'm saying?
No, 100%. Because here's the interesting thing. A couple
scary.
Days ago, the day before they announced this, a video was circling of Daisy Ridley doing an interview asking if she would ever return to Star Wars, and her response was, absolutely, I'm unemployed, I need a job. And then the very next day, Star Wars Celebration kicks off. This is one of their first announcements.
Yeah, I think that was a good way of being like, I can't say anything right now. I gotta say, like, they've been talking to me about it because it had to be probably like
early pre-production
for sure. But I'm pretty sure they're like, we got to get her on board first if the story is gonna come to fruition. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But I mean, as if I was in her shoes, I would be honestly really scared.
No, 100%. She's returning, already signed a contract. As far as we know, she may still be under contract with Disney, just not being used.
Probably.
We don't know.
Most likely, there is probably still plans. Because, I mean, the story, there's just so much to her character that needs to be really developed and you know, get full redemption for. Talk about redemptions, huh? This is this whole episode about redemptions.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The third and final film, Dave Filoni. So a couple things about his film, and the biggest thing is that it feels like, yes, in this season the most, we feel like they have really started to kind of bridge that gap from the original trilogy to the sequel trilogy in these shows. We felt it the most because they directly mentioned the cloning process. But this feels like they are going to really, really, again, bridge that to feel like it doesn't feel like there is a lot of mess that the sequel trilogy made. There's a couple things that like immediately come to mind for this trilogy. Again, he said it's going to include The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and more. So we know obviously Ahsoka's in it. We know The Mandalorian's in it. We know Boba Fett's in it. Because they're in it, I am like finally convinced, not convinced, but a big part of me thinks like this is going to be the Luke Skywalker's going to have also a very big presence in this film. And we're finally going to get a film of Luke Skywalker after Return of the Jedi, where he is a fully fleshed out Jedi Master, which I think would be awesome. Another thing, who is the villain going to be? Because especially after this episode of The Mandalorian, we have, I don't really want to say spoilers of it.
We're going into spoiler territory anyway.
We'll get into it, but But here's the thing: we now know Moff Gideon is back. We know Thrawn is coming. We know Thrawn is returning. Who is that big bad? Because especially after the opening scene in just The Mandalorian, and where Gideon views how things are in the rebuilding empire, who is our villain? That's like the biggest question mark I have. Also, because, and this is another thing, we know that this Dave Filoni film is years away. I'm thinking like this is maybe 5 years away. Like realistically. You have a lot of time to build your timeline in terms of, are we going to have the early days of Snoke involved? Possibly a young Kylo Ren? And
you heard it here, folks.
No, I'm just saying, this is like literally what I'm thinking. Because also the biggest thing too is like with this season alone, this also feels, especially in the last season, they said it, or the last episode of The Mandalorian, the next war of Mandalore is upon us. This feels like this is going to be the all-out war, this film. This is the all-out war for the planet of Mandalore. This is going to be the epic conclusion. There's so many question marks with how Dave Filoni is going to handle it and how much can realistically be on the table. Because if Dave Filoni has shown us anything, he is not afraid to use his animated characters in live action.
Right. Because he knows these characters inside out.
And I apologize for rambling on, Miguel. And I haven't given you a chance to talk.
No. You're absolutely fine.
I haven't given you a chance to
took the lead on this. It's totally cool. Don't worry.
What are your thoughts on all of this with Dave Filoni?
In Dave Filoni, we trust. That's all I can say because I've seen it. I've seen Rebels. I haven't seen the Clone Wars, yes, but I will get to that. But with Rebels, I mean, Rebels hooked me from the very beginning, and I finished that show so quickly. And to see these characters returning in The Mandalorian, when I saw Seb, I freaked out. I yelled. When I finally saw Ahsoka, I was like, oh my God, this is great. I mean, and then to see the Ahsoka trailer and to see Sabine and to see Ezra, like, and then Thrawn, I'm excited. And I'm more and more happy and welcome to see anything that Dave Filoni produces. Everything that this new season has done is just made me more of a fan. So I'm on board. I'm on board.
Here. That's all I can say is that I'm on board because like you said, in Dave Filoni we trust. And this is something we've said since the beginning of this podcast. In Dave Filoni we trust. And in all honesty, fans started to question it this third season of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And if there's any testament with this episode, and even in this season, it is let Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni cook, because that's exactly what they've been doing. They're cooking. They're saying, "Look, you want Luke? Here's Luke. You want Ahsoka? Here's Ahsoka. You want Boba Fett? Here's Boba Fett. You want us to bridge the sequel trilogy better? Here it is. You want Sabine, Ezra, Hera, Zeb? Here they all are. He's giving us everything we wanted." I'm like on board. I'm gonna be honest. After Star Wars Celebration, one thing came to mind. I am saving up for a NeoPixel lightsaber because I want something badass. I am gonna every check. I'm
you got him, Disney.
Some money.
You got him. You're in his pockets.
Well, no. See, this is the thing. That's not even
You're
a
in his
Disney thing
wallet.
because they don't sell NeoPixels.
Oh, they don't.
No, because NeoPixels.
You have to get this custom made then.
Well, there's companies that customly build lightsabers that are more movie accurate than what Disney produces, and they light up smoothly. It's a seamless transition. It's light up with these sabers. I'm convinced. I want a NeoPixel. I'm not gonna go impulsively buy it after the end of the stuff. I'm gonna save up for it.
All right. For those wondering, cause I'm wondering this, a NeoPixel lightsaber.
They start at like $500, dude, and can go anywhere up to like.
Christ.
They can go anywhere up to like $3,000.
There's an Easter sale.
Yeah. Okay. This website
up to 55% off.
This website I was looking at is having
Easter sale ends in 1 day with 18 hours, 41 minutes, and 30 seconds.
I think I know what website you're on.
With a countdown. Neosabers.com.
Oh, okay. I was looking at Tatooine Sabers.
Oh, okay. These are pretty cool.
No, right, yeah,
so
they
original
are.
Luke Skywalker saber is $235. Original price is $429.
Yeah.
They have the dark that's not original. No, that's not it.
But
that's crazy. These handles are insane.
So another thing, Star Wars Celebration came out very, very hot. They gave us everything on Friday of what was excited. We did hear about Ahsoka later. They also confirmed the Bad Batch is ending with season 3. Mm-hmm. They confirmed, I think Andor will premiere in 2024.
Yes, with season 2 being its final season.
And we already knew it was only a 2-season thing.
Yeah. But
they confirmed it for 2024. I'm fine with that. They confirmed season 2 of oh my gosh, Star Wars Visions. So that's cool, and they showed the trailer for it and it looked great. They also announced, which I think is also awesome, which I'm going to try and get tickets to, is Return of the Jedi is returning to theaters at the Al Capitan at the end of the month in April on the 26th. So that's pretty cool. Star Wars just had a very, very eventful weekend.
Yep.
It was truly a celebration. Before we get into Mando talk, the biggest and coolest thing was that we saw Hayden Christensen really receive his flowers this celebration, where the fans just truly embraced him and truly just essentially what it feels like hijacked his time to talk and just continuously cheered him. And it was honestly such an awesome sight to see.
It was really touching.
I have a question for you. Are you going down the rabbit hole for NeoPixels?
Maybe.
You were going. It's insane,
you know what my
man.
attention went to?
Yeah.
Just they're so nice. I'm sorry.
No, they are. They are.
They're incredible. They're like, wow.
Yeah.
There's one that's like $200. It's a Black Star Killer. I'm like, okay.
Do you know who Star
I can
Killer
do that. No, but my mind went to like Harry Potter ones.
Oh, okay.
And it's like a different website besides the Nova Collection that does them like authentically.
So Star Killer.
So now I'm going down to that rabbit hole.
Star Killer in the expanded universe is Vader's apprentice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And his saber is built from the remains of Anakin's saber, which doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, because I thought
Luke got Anakin's saber. So now that I think about, if I remember correctly, the games. So he's from the games of The Force Unleashed.
Oh shoot!
Yeah,
No
so
way.
he's Starkiller. Yeah, Galen Merrick, and he's voiced by Galen Merrick, or Galen Whitworth, or Sam Whitworth, who voices Maul in the animated series.
I love that guy. He's so nice.
Yeah, he's awesome. But again,
Wait a minute. Wasn't he kind of predator? No, never mind.
no. You're thinking of Ray
The other
Parker.
guy, right? Yeah.
Ray Parker. Yeah, he has got issues, and he will never return to Star Wars.
I cannot
Um,
believe he posted
but
full pictures
to
on.
wrap up the Star Wars Celebration talk, Hayden got his flowers. It was awesome. It was nice. It was sweet. It was just a pure moment for him to see him finally get embraced, and for him to come out and say, he feels like he owes a lot to Dave Filoni for fleshing out Anakin and making him a lot more loved, and even creating the opportunity for him to come back. You know, um, but yeah, it was sweet. And then he also got asked a question from the girl interviewing him, saying like, what was your favorite film, or what was your favorite quote that you get from the films? Because obviously he gets them, and he's just like, obviously I get the I hate sand, or he gets what's up Sky Guy, but he's just like, but the one his favorite is May the Force be with you. Because
Oh,
it's just it's the most Star Wars' thing, like that's what you get told, everybody gets told that, may the Force be with you, and that's what he loves to hear, and he's just like, and it's just really cool. It was just really cool to see him be that emotional. It's just like he got his redemption,
he did.
and it's awesome. Awesome to see. In unrelated news, the last thing is also Kathleen Kennedy came out and said, we're not actively developing Obi-Wan Kenobi season 2, which is kind of sad news in my opinion, because I would love just one more season of them reunited. For me to just, okay, let's put them to bed forever. I just want one more. I just want one more ride. One more ride with those two characters before we put them
Yeah,
to bed.
let's do it. Let's recreate Order 66.
I wouldn't mind
let's
seeing flashbacks
let's give it more
new
trauma.
footage, with new footage of Hayden in it. But I would also, but again, I would love them for them to for Hayden and Ewan to recreate the Death Star scene where Vader kills.
Oh yeah,
I would
I'd love to see that. I want to see their final battle like that go down.
Yeah, and really just revamp it and give it more life. If you're not gonna remake the sequel trilogy, which I'm all on board for them to do it, and I've said that before. If you're not gonna do that, give us at least a revamped fight where it's Ewan and Hayden, and we're putting they're
I
saying
mean,
goodbye.
technically, we did kind of get that with the Obi-Wan Kenobi series,
Yes, but
but like to see it
the final
fleshed
time
out.
they fully interact with one another on screen is when Vader kills Obi-Wan. And I would love to see that. I'd love to see them do that scene, as opposed to just have it Alec Guinness and the guy who was in the Vader suit at the time. I think they deserve that. That's my opinion. We got
Oh yeah,
one final topic that leads directly into it, which is obviously Mando talk.
God, what an episode!
My immediate thoughts after this episode is the season seriously leveled up. Like, seriously.
The stakes came in swinging. Like in the beginning, and it's funny. It wasn't until this episode I realized, oh my god, of course, this is a very detailed way of like a narrative
Mm-hmm.
of writing a season out and really plotting and planting your seeds and making sure they're getting watered and grown and everything, and it's getting the vitamin sun. It's just I was really really impressed with this episode and the way that it handled everything.
Yeah.
The overall feeling for it was that, oh crap, they might even leave us. They might even leave this season with a cliffhanger.
I think it is. And I think we mentioned it last week that it's more or less leading into the Ahsoka series.
Right.
And I want to say it's been confirmed. I don't know, though. Don't know.
Excuse me. Of what? Of
If
oh, like leading into it. I
yeah,
mean, we did kind of get we did get names thrown out there that it will be a central figure in Ahsoka for sure.
yeah, yeah, no, yeah, and that's what we were talking about is how this season, it mentioned Thrawn. So the opening scene is really like sets the tone early. It's like a hey, this is starting at 100 miles an hour, and we're gonna get up to 200 miles an hour by the end of this episode. Um, because we essentially see Moff Gideon, he's finally in the flesh, and we see him
He's so
where
melodramatic.
yeah, he
All
is.
these Siths, like bad people of the galaxy, they love their theatrics. They have such entrances that are so grand, and they have their capes and their secret mission, their secret. It's just they're just like so like you want to bully them, but you also like them.
Yeah. No, yeah. So we see Moff Gideon, and he's essentially saying, "Hey, we're bringing the Empire back. The Mandalorian, they're headed to Mandalore. We need to pick them off." And I'm convinced. All right, this is too simple. This is too simple in terms of there's no way this episode's gonna end in where the Empire comes and picks off the Mandalorians. There's no way. There's no way. But we deliberately get the name drop of Thrawn. Moff Gideon's like, I keep hearing about Thrawn, but he's nowhere.
Yeah, and
You
he's like,
know,
I'm the whispers of this galaxy. I hear everything from one edge to the other, and nothing
which is such a
is
bone
said.
chilling line when you
Yeah,
think
like he's
of
like, I'm the whispers, and he's like, yeah, and because this guy is like, no, we got to trust in the fact that Thrawn is basically thriving on secrecy. Like he's
yeah,
here in the shadows already. He's here, but like he's planning.
yeah, yeah. No, really, and like that's really how it feels because it's just like somebody who Moff Gideon is saying, I don't believe Thrawn is still out there. I hear all the whispers. For him to question that, and for him to obviously not know, like man, like the conflict between the two is gonna be unreal.
Yeah, which
Which
also brings me to believe that um I feel like Thrawn might even just take Gideon out.
that's how I kind of feel. But I'm gonna be honest. I feel like that's something that can't happen until Dave Filoni's film. You don't want to get rid
Possibly,
of
yeah.
Juan Carlo Esposito this soon.
Yeah.
Somebody who helped build the Mandalorian backbone and what made season one so lovable and so rememberable is Juan Carlo Esposito as Moff Gideon. You need him in that film. Not just because he's been a backbone, but just because of the talent that he adds, that he will be able to add with the Mickelson brother
Right.
and Pedro Pascal. He would bring so much to the table for the film. But essentially, the the episode's very straightforward. The Mandalorian's like, hey, we're heading to Mandalore. We're taking it. We're gonna see if we can find the Great Forge. Before they do, there's a really funny scene where we see how stubborn Grogu is. Um,
Grief, grief. We see also the return of what's the droid? His name? It's Droid 1112 now.
oh, it's IG-11, but now it's IG-12.
IG-11, but now it's
12.
12.
Yeah.
Not completely back in functioning order. It's more of um I want to say it's like Tony Stark's Iron
Tony
Man
Stark.
suit.
It's an exoskeleton suit. Exoskeleton suit.
An exoskeleton suit, yeah. And immediately Mando Din Djarin is like, no, this isn't working for me because Grogu just steals the show yet again. Scene stealer just jumps on there, starts running around in the suit, starts pressing yes and no buttons. But it's fantastic. It's lovable. It's Grogu. It's who he is. He's old enough. He said he's old enough in this episode. He said, I'm old enough
Yeah. Yes.
to be riding in the front
Yes.
seat.
Yes. No.
Yes.
No.
um,
um, but overall it's a great funny episode. So obviously, the clan that used to previously follow Bo-Katan agrees to go on the expedition. Not Tar Vizsla, but Paz Vizsla. He's the first one to volunteer for the mission.
Actually, the first one to volunteer is one of Bo-Katan's old members. It's Axe Wolves. And then that one woman.
No, I'm pretty sure Tar Vizsla is the Paz Vizsla.
Paz Vizsla is not the first one to volunteer for the meeting. He volunteers right after Axe.
No,
because
I think he stands up first.
Bro, no.
Point is,
we're gonna have a bro off.
Bro.
No. The first one to stand up is the woman in the Mando that's part of Axe Wolves, like Mandalorian tribe. She goes, "I will go," and then after Axe Wolves goes, "I will go," and then after Axe Wolves says, "I will go," he stands up. He's like, "I will go." But the first one to stand up was the Mandalorian. I mean, Din. He was like, "I will go," and right after that, yeah.
But point is, they all agree to go to Mandalore, which is awesome. And even the armorer chooses to go, which I thought that was big. I thought that was really big.
Suspect.
We'll get into that because Danny, your friend Danny.
Shout out to Danny. Yes. Danny gave us a brilliant idea.
It's Danny.
Danny. Yeah.
Danny.
It's Danny.
I've been messaging. He followed me on Instagram, so we started like messaging, like talking about the Mandalorian. He brought up an interesting theory regarding the armorer, and that she seems very sus. She seems
all
very
season
sus.
Apparently.
I'm not picking it up till now, but
it was a very good insight
100%.
Into something I wasn't even considering. Just so the fact that we've been seeing that sole purpose is to kind of regain Mandalore and its strength and the numbers, right?
Yeah. And we kind of see that because, again, we have them go. We have half of Din Djarin's clan and half of Bo-Katan's Bo-Katan's clan go to Mandalore, and they set out on an expedition to go find the Great Forge. And they're going so, and then they run into a ship, and they're very cautious. And then there's pirate Mandalorians, which I think is awesome.
That we're serving
her.
Yeah,
serving Bo-Katan.
Lady Bo-Katan, yeah. Crazy.
Which leads to a very, very real conversation between Bo and Din, where Bo opens up about the truth that she did surrender to Moff Gideon, and that Moff Gideon betrayed her.
Yes.
And took the
she did it in the hopes of saving the rest of the Mandalorians because it was going to be total annihilation from then on if she didn't surrender. Because
she knew loss was imminent at that point.
Yeah.
That the extinction, essentially extinction for Mandalore was on the verge of... Mandalore was on the verge of extinction. Because again, Bo-Katan starts to question herself, can I lead these Mandalorian? And then Din goes and has honestly one of the honest lines there is, it's just like in talk about redemption, is like wanting to see her redemption, where he goes like, your song's not written yet. I'll follow you until it is. Goes, and again, I am convinced there's a relationship brewing there.
They're in love.
They are, I think it is,
It could be platonic, but also too, if they're like, if it falls for it, I'm cool with it. I'm happy with it.
It seems more of like they are buddy, but there's an attachment for sure, to one another. And then Bo-Katan goes and retells that to every single Mandalorian that they're there with, which I think is awesome. Which is again a good thing because they're fleshing out her character, like they're fleshing it out really, really well. Point is, we get to the climax of the film or the episode, and it turns out
it was a film. Jesus,
it felt like it was an hour episode. It was a good one. Yeah. Finally, man, I'm all about these hour episodes.
Give me more hours.
Yeah, that's one thing I'll say. Not to get off track, is that Disney hasn't always said, "Hey, every
Delivered
episode's gonna
like
be an hour. It's gonna be whatever it needs," which I do enjoy. But the curveball in the episode is that Mandalore has secretly been housing the Empire.
Godzilla. Oh wait, what?
Yeah, and there's this really cool face-off or battle between Mandalorians and new stormtroopers, and
That
they
are
sent.
wearing Beskar
Well, we'll
armor.
get into that. We'll get into that.
That's crazy.
So they go and they try to escape, and essentially, Din gets trapped all by himself. Moff Gideon is revealed in, like you said, Beskar armor. Very, very reminiscent to Maul's armor from Clone Wars. So you haven't, oh, that's right, you haven't seen Clone Wars. So in Clone Wars, Maul takes over Mandalore, and they have the Mandalorians. And their armor is literally the color of Maul's skin, which is red and black, and they all have horns that come out of their masks, of their Beskar helmets, and they look
cool.
really, really cool. They look really, really cool.
That's really cool, actually.
And he has armor very reminiscent to that, and it's really, really cool because he's in all black. I thought he was a or one of those death troopers that we saw at the end of season 2. The one that lock onto Luke, that he's a bigger threat than what that was in the room at the end. And I was just like, okay, like this is like, all right. And again,
Damn.
Din gets, completely roughed up. They take him out for questioning. And
Dude, they bring my boy down.
It's pretty interesting because we now know Grogu's separated again from him. And obviously, I'm assuming Bo's going to be watching over him. He is in the IG-12 suit. But at the end of the episode, there's this battle where the armor, Paz Vizsla, is sacrificing himself for the future of Mandalore. Future of his Mandalorian. The Mandalorians he was fighting earlier in the episode. That Grogu went and separated and said, no.
Our guy, man.
No. Goes and sacrifices himself for the future of Mandalore, which I think is amazing. However, I will say I hate that they made us love him just to kill him. I say kill. I don't think he's dead. Me personally, I don't think he's dead.
I think he's dead, bro. He was attacked by these. What were they? These troopers that
They
were
were
all
very reminiscent to the reminded me of Palpatine's
the Red
guards.
troopers from the Palpatine.
Yeah, the Royal Guards reminded me of that.
The Last Jedi, right?
Not the last. Well, they were in Revenge of the Sith. They were in all the sequel trilogy, or the original trilogy. It just very reminded me of that. But also the ones that were in Snoke's throne room as well. Makes sense though, because obviously Snoke ended up being Palpatine.
Yes.
But yeah, this season or this episode just really, really, really shifted into gear.
It threw everything off the scales, man.
Yeah.
I felt really bad for Paz, and I think he's dead. I mean, I hope he's alive, but I think he's dead. I'm really worried about what's going to happen to Din. I am concerned for him, and I'm also very concerned for Grogu at this point because I think he's going to want to look for him.
Absolutely.
And then now too, also Bo-Katan had a scene where she uses the Darksaber to cut a hole in the wall in the wall or in the door, right? That was locked. Where was that energy when Din was getting attacked? I'd like to know. Yeah. Why wasn't she cutting walls to get through and just staring at him?
Ultimately, if she cuts a hole through that door, she's sacrificing more Mandalorian.
That's true.
And we all know the type of Mandalorian that Din would be. He wants to go out fighting.
Yeah.
Last thing he wants is Bo-Katan saving him.
That's true, because he even when back earlier in the episode when Grogu breaks the fight between Axe Wolves and the battle of Mandalorian. Bo-Katan is like, you taught your apprentice well. He's like, he didn't get that from me.
Yeah.
Like, I would have kept fighting.
Yeah. You know. But anyways, Danny had a really good theory to kind of finish off. He thinks the armor is in on this.
He, I was in complete denial. It's not off terrible, but it would suck. And in a sense, it would be a really cool shock for the episode to be like, okay, this is why you wanted to get everyone together.
Yeah.
Because in a sense, it would be complete total annihilation of the Mandalorians.
Yeah, because once you lose Bo and Din and even Koska Reeves and Axe, and even like the armored Paz Vizsla, like they haven't fleshed out anybody else.
Yeah.
So Danny said he thinks the horns on Moff Gideon's and the armorer's Beskar helmets are like a tall tale, that they mean the same thing. He also said it was convenient of her to want to take the injured back to orbit to the ship while the rest of them got ambushed. I had replied saying, well, the only thing I can say is that we've never seen the armor in combat. But then he said, he's just like, well, then why did she volunteer to begin with? So I said, look, this theory that Danny has, I was like, it's a great theory. I was just like, one, because if it's good, like you said, for shell shock.
Yeah.
The character development that Din will have to go through if she is in fact working with Moff Gideon would be second to none. And here's why. Because Din is all about the creed. He is all about the future of the Mandalorian. And from the very first scene where he's getting his armor replaced, she says, we're going to preserve some for the foundlings.
Yes.
And he's always been able to see her as a voice of reason and to take knowledge from her and to even teach him. For him to have followed her, just for her to be working with Gideon, that is some seriously good character development for Din. One, to where he accepts his role as being able to unite Mandalorian, because we've seen it. We've seen it in all these episodes. Din Djarin has what it takes to merge them more than what Bo-Katan does. And that's just what it is. It's just a matter of the fact. I get it. He is the main character. But
what I would want to see is I would like just an all-out war.
And I think that's what this film's leading to.
I kind of want. I mean, in a sense too. I think it's the Mandalorian way, but I want them to have a battle because I'm not particularly fond of. I mean, I do like Bo-Katan, and I see 100% as a leader. She already has the qualities of one. She's doubting herself. She thinks she can't do it, but that's more reasons to be a leader.
Yeah.
If there was a person that already knew what to do and all that stuff, that's not a good leader. That's someone who's like improvising completely, and just shooting it. But that the idea of Din having to completely be set back because of the armor potentially being in on it, that's gonna just make the next season much more fruity.
Yeah, it's definitely going to give a lot of life and character to Din and force him into develop more character. Because there's something is going to be he's going to be directly affected by it. This whole series, well, at least the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, was reuniting him with Grogu, or with Luke, with a Jedi. This season was more of him following Bo.
Yes.
When we actually have him have to develop into who am I as an individual? Now that my creed, he questions his creed. He questions the way that he walks. I think it would be great storytelling because it writes itself at that point.
Yeah. Crazy. Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless, to be honest. I think that's a great theory that Danny brought in. And then I don't even know where this is all gonna lead. But all I know is that I need Grogu and Din back together.
Yeah.
I need him to have a happy ending. I can't have him. I can't. Do you potentially ever see them killing off Din?
I can kind of see it in the final film or in the film. However, I can also see that being where, because like my biggest thing is like Filoni setting the seeds for the film. They wouldn't have announced it if obviously they know their seeds are coming to kind of into fruition, and they are going to show us kind of what is going to be leading up into the film. Because my biggest thing is like, what does Filoni do after he finally got his film? Like, what does he do after?
He's making
I
more, is what he's gonna be doing.
Who knows? Maybe Filoni retires after the film. Let's just speak hypothetical. I could see him sending Ahsoka off into the sunset, and we see finally Ahsoka become one with the Force.
Yeah.
Because we know she dies before the events of the Rise of Skywalker, because Rey hears her voice. I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at Din Djarin dying. I had this conversation where I said season 2 of The Mandalorian is probably the best it was ever going to get, because we got Luke, we got Ahsoka, Grogu. The Mandalorian achieved his goal. He reunited Grogu with the Jedi. But I don't know if I feel that way now.
Well, I
I don't know if
mean,
I feel that way
there's
anymore.
a way bigger picture here now. Like they elevated the season, they elevated the show. They're incorporating other elements, and they're focusing on not just the fact that it's one Mandalorian, but it's the Mandalorians.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because this season overall has led me to believe that this is no longer Din's show. It is a faction now. It is the Creed. It is the people. It is the restoration of
Yeah.
Mandalore completely. You
He'll
know,
always be
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I know people are like, no, it's Din's story, and we need to just see him and Grogu and move on. But no, this show has me. That's a good way of making the show continue.
No, absolutely.
And also too, just providing more stories, because it's also just not just like it's not just on them.
Well, a couple of things is that like, so here's my thing. I do believe the show is Din Djarin's. The show is 100% Din Djarin's. However, I think there is room to incorporate other Mandalorians. We've seen it. Boba. That's okay. At some point, again, there's that also theory that Grogu's the heir to Mandalore. He's going to be finally the Jedi that is also Mandalorian, half Jedi. He walks both ways. I'm also fine with that as well. There's so much on the table moving forward, because at the end of the day, we don't know. We don't know what Filoni has planned. But it all goes back to, in Filoni we trust.
Yeah.
Excited for next episode? Season finale?
Oh, 100%. I want to know what happens, but I'm also very afraid.
Yeah.
I'm afraid because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where this might lead, but I feel like it might be a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I think it's leading into Ahsoka directly.
Mm-hmm.
They're planting seeds. Fine with me. Fine with me.
Yeah.
It's only like 5 months away. Any final thoughts to close out the episode?
I'm just going through all like the highlights of it right now, just to kind of like get me more hype for the next episode. And all I can say is just like, wow.
We're getting Neil pixels, right?
Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, we love you.
Yes,
we
do.
love you guys. Jesus.
So we're getting Neil pixels, right?
that's another
That's the
role.
plan.
Yeah, we're
That's
gonna
the
be,
plan. That's the
dude.
plan.
Oh my god, can you imagine us
Dude,
in our
I'm gonna send you a whole bunch of
Mandalorian
videos.
suits? And
All of my early saved TikTok videos are nothing but NeoPixel information. Yeah.
that makes sense because on the TikTok that we have for the podcast, the for you page is very for you.
Oh.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. But
All right.
I think it's gonna do it for the
Uh
episode.
Close us off, Adam.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you're watching this, subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/our real addiction. Season 3 is coming in hot. We got a lot of up and coming projects. We have Movie News Monday, TV Inquiry, and of course the Our Real Addiction podcast, all going to be under the Our Real Addiction YouTube channel. Again, that is youtube.com/our real addiction. Go subscribe there because Movie News Monday and TV Inquiry are going to be YouTube exclusives.
Yeah, buddy.
My nose is itchy. But if you're watching this, we'll catch you in the next episode. As always, thanks for the support. And as always, I'm Adam.
I'm Miguel.
And this was episode 110 of Our Real Addiction Sick Parvis Magna.
Sick Parvis Magna, everybody.